What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? It's Pride Month. I had to be inclusive. But in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play the Italian opening. So I have like the analysis board here, and this is the Italian opening. It's where you go e4, and then your opponents will go e5. If you're like in the 1000 range, that's what they do. And then you like move your knight here, attacking their pawn, and they'll defend it. And then you're going to want to play your bishop to c4. This is the Italian opening, or game, or whatever you call it. Now, some of you may be asking, why should I play this? This sucks. And the answer is because pizza tastes really good. And Italian equals pizza. So anyways, there are two main things your opponent can do here. Mainly this and this. I'll be like explaining what to do against those and other things too. So let's start with the first example. If your opponent goes here, then what I like doing is like playing c3, preparing to go d4 and like attacking it. Then your opponent will probably go knight to f6, attacking your pawn. And then you're going to want to go d4, attacking his bishop. So he like can't take the pawn because you take his bishop. So your opponent is probably going to take the pawn, and then you take back, and like they're going to have to check you. Everything else is bad for them. And when your opponent does this, you don't want to block with like the knight. Like if you block with the knight, they'll do this and they win a pawn and your knight's pinned and stuff. And it kind of sucks. So when you do this, you want to take and block the check with your bishop. Now there are lots of things your opponents could do here. One thing they might do is like try to take this pawn, and they think they're like so smart because they won a pawn and now you're losing. But you can actually get your pawn back by first taking this bishop, and they have to take this back, otherwise they just lose a piece. And then you actually can sacrifice the bishop here, and then when they take it, you fork them with your queen and you fork their king and their knight. And what they most likely do here is play d5. Then like when you take back your knight, they'll probably like put their rook here, attacking your king, like threatening to do like a fancy discovered attack. And you just castle, and then they like move their king back, and it's like they manually castled. This is like usually what people play. This is like what happens a lot. It's like a completely equal position. However, like if your opponent, instead of taking your pawn, they take with the bishop, then you're going to want to take back with the knight, defending this pawn. Otherwise, you just lose a pawn, which would suck. Now you can do things like go here and like try to attack and like push your pawns and kick their knights out. And then you're like, I would say pretty good, but apparently it's completely equal. So I'd be lying to you. Now I'll be explaining to you guys what to do if your opponent plays the other common response to the Italian opening, the two knights defense. If you're like 1000 to 1600 rated, you're gonna want to play knight to g5, trying to attack this f7 square, trying to plan an attack called the fried liver attack. Now your opponent here, like to block this, they have to play d5. They could do something like the Traxler counterattack. I'll show you how to counter that later. But anyways, you have to play d5. It's like the only move that stops this and works. Then you're gonna want to take this pawn. Now your opponent actually has to move this knight to like attack your bishop. I'll show you what happens if they just take this. Now you can play the fried liver attack. You play this by sacrificing your knight, and they have to take back, otherwise you like win a piece. Then you move your queen to f3, forking their knight and king. Now your opponent can do a lot of things here actually. They can like move back, they can block the check, or if they get greedy, they can try to save their knight. first I'll show you what happens if they just block the check. Then you're gonna want to take the knight and they'll like move back. Then you're gonna want to take this again, and they'll probably take back with their queen. And after the exchange, you're just up a pawn, and they're like pawn structures damaged here. You're just in a better position. So let's say your opponent goes back instead. Then obviously you take your knight back, and you're threatening checkmate on the next move. It's like good for you, and you're threatening to take this knight too. And if your opponent goes back here, it's even worse because it's unstoppable checkmate. They trap themselves. So no one's gonna do that because nobody's that stupid. So they're gonna do. So if they go here trying to protect their knight, then obviously what you want to do is put more pressure on the knight. Then they're probably gonna try to save it. They only have two moves here, and here. Most people will go here, threatening to fork you on c2, and you can either slide your king here, move your queen here to keep pressure on the knight while defending that, or just sliding your bishop back to also defend it. Let's say you slide the bishop back. Then they'll probably do something like c6 to defend the knight. And after you kick their knight out and they move back, now like their king is just in the middle of the board. Even though you're down material, their king is like really unsafe. And at any moment, if they like move their king away, you can take this. Sorry, that's not how knight moves. You can take, and then you just win a pawn, and you're fronting more stuff, I guess. Now, instead of playing d5, like the only way to stop you from forking them, some edgy teenagers will play the Traxler Counterattack. If you play the Traxler Counterattack, I'm sorry for calling you an edgy teenager. But as you can see, the engine is already calling it bad because it is kind of bad if you know how to counter it. So what you want to do is take it and fork them. Like that was your entire idea of going here. It'd be pretty sad if you just didn't carry out your plan. So your opponent is going to do this, sacrificing the bishop. Now you don't even want to take this bishop because if you take it, they actually have counterplay, and then they'll like move their queen here. So what you want to do instead is you just want to scoot your king, so they have no counterplay, and then they're gonna have to move their queen, and you just grab their rook, and then they're gonna have to like move their bishop back, and you just have this nice rook. Your knight is in the corner though, so it's kind of dead, and like your king safety is like not the best, so you're only up like 0.8, but hey, still pretty good though. Engine says you can like give him a random check. I don't know what that does, but yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you what to do if your opponent isn't an idiot and knows how to counter the fried liver. So obviously you're gonna play d5, only move that works, and when you take, they may be tempted to take this pawn because two attackers, one defender, he win or she or they. I don't assume genders, guys, but they win because they have two attackers and you only have one defender. But you saw what happens when they do this, the fried liver attack. So the correct move here is actually to move your knight to a5, attacking your bishop. Now, if you just retreat your bishop, let's say you like go here or something, they just win their pawn back. So what you want to do instead, sorry, wrong move. You want to give them a check, and they're gonna block the check with their pawn. Then instead of just losing your pawn, you're gonna exchange it for one of their pawns, and then you're gonna want to move here. Why here, you may ask? Because like I don't know what happened to the evaluation bar, but let's say you go here, then your opponent kicks your knight, and you have to go here because nowhere else works. And they go here, and your knight just gets kicked around like I don't know what's something that gets kicked a lot. But so that you actually have to go here. It looks bad because it's blocking in your knight, but you need to move it here. So when they go here, you can do this, and it's like supported by the bishop instead of just hanging your knight. Engine is like plus 0.8, I think. I don't know why the evaluation bar isn't working. But anyways, yeah. So this is what you want to do when your opponent knows how to counter the fried liver. Now I'm going to be showing you guys what to do if your opponent plays like less common things. By the way, I reloaded the tab so you guys, because the evaluation bar wasn't showing. So let me demonstrate you one of them. You saw that like knight here, fried liver, scary stuff. That's why some people play h6, the anti-fried liver defense. It's literally an opening here. People are that scared of it. Now the way you want to punish this is you want to immediately strike in the center with both your pawns, d4, and if they trade, if they get like trade happy and take this, then you have two pieces in the center developed and they have nothing. You're like up 0.6. That's how you punish the anti-fried liver. You can also just castle. Engine also says that's pretty good. Another thing people might do is the Blackburne Shilling Gambit. I'll show you the point, like what they're trying to get with this gambit. Like if they're trying to make you think, oh look, there's a free pawn. So after you take the pawn, they move their queen here, forking this and this. But you're just gonna be like, oh my god, that's a fork. I can attack his queen and rook, or her or their. I don't assume genders. Then they do this, and all of a sudden your rook is trapped. Then if you try to save it, then they do this, and you can either give them your queen and they just get a queen for a knight, or if you try to get like protective of all your pieces and try to save everything you can, they just checkmate you. So that is very bad, which is why you don't. Taking the pawn's okay, but like it's better to just take this knight. It may seem like it's a pawn less, but this knight moved twice in the opening, and like so like after you take, you do this and you have two pieces developed while your opponent has none, and this pawn's very weak and you're probably going to win it later. I think that's like all the things people do against the Italian. I hope I'm not forgetting something, but thanks for watching this video. If you made it this far, no one's gonna see this, but goodbye. Wait, one sec. I know I said goodbye already, but I need to do a proper outro first. Proper in quotation marks, because my outros are not proper. A quick disclaimer. If you like lose a game with the Italian opening, then it's your fault. You should not have listened to a random Canadian 1700. Second of all, if you guys want me to do other openings, like I know a few other, like, let me demonstrate. Caro, Con, oh, it's my turn. Fantasy variation, I play that. I also like, let me flip the board. King's Gambit Accepted, I also play. I can like show you some of those things if you guys like this video, but you probably didn't because I'm a patzer. Okay, anyways, goodbye for real this time.